Feelings are valid.
They are. Validate your feelings. See Susan up front with your ticket to validate them. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Sons of Haddonfield. As always, I'm Ian, and this is Josh.
Hey, hey, hey.
And we're conjuring up another special episode for you. Wink, wink. What are we going to be telling them about?
We're going to be diving into a review of the latest installment in the Conjuring franchise, Conjuring 3.
The Devil Made Me Do It. No, he didn't.
Did he? I don't know. He might have. He might have. Maybe he didn't.
That was
I don't know.
Just your own bad decisions.
So I think we're in a bit of a disagreement here. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that. I think you liked it a little bit more than I did.
I did, and your wife agreed with me.
Yeah, she loved it. You loved it. How many stars did you give this out of 5?
I gave it 5 stars.
You gave it 5 stars. Was it your favorite in the universe?
It's like right up there with number 2 for me.
Really? Okay.
I know a lot of people disagree with me too, but I mean, I loved it.
Well, hey, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. There were things I loved about it. There are things I honestly didn't like about it, though. And at times, to me, it didn't feel like a true Conjuring movie.
And that's where I think we differ on it. And me and most of the other people who agree with your views on the movie would stand, I'm sure. But it's okay to have different thoughts on movies because we are lovers of the films and we enjoy them. Or you don't, and it's okay.
Just okay. Feelings are valid.
They are. Validate your feelings. See Susan up front with your ticket to validate them.
What?
Because, when you're parking, people validate parking.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. Deal with it. Roll with it. Anyway, what I loved about it is that it was a human villain conjuring up an evil spirit, and it focused on the human element, and like mental illness could have been a part of it. They play on a lot of those issues that I talked about in our last video, what I would have liked to see in the Conjuring universe.
They really did.
Yeah.
It's like they were listening to that and was like, oh, we're going to make a film that Ian loves.
Yeah, but they would have had to have a time machine because that video was already made.
And look, I didn't hate it. And after talking to you and talking to Nicole about it, and you kind of made me see points that I may have missed the first time around when I was so focused on what is going on here. First of all, it's the first of the Conjuring titles to not be directed by James Wan. And I think that is very, very apparent in this movie.
I mean, yes, you could tell it was a different director from the camera work and things like that and like kind of what they were doing. But I will say I enjoyed this a lot better than La Llorona. And I wasn't expecting a lot because La Llorona wasn't my favorite. It's not bad, like we talked about. What did we rank it?
I think it came in at number 6 out of the 7 that had come out.
Well, so it wasn't high up on the totem pole for either of us, but it's still a good movie, decent movie. But this movie greatly improved on that.
It's the same director as La Llorona, Michael Chavez, and he definitely, I will say this, he definitely took a big step up from The Curse of La Llorona to The Conjuring 3. That is true. He definitely improved, and that is good. I like to see that growth in a filmmaker, no matter who he is or who she is. So that was good. I applaud him for that. I think he tried some things that just didn't quite fit the Conjuring titles that would have fit better had it been a spin-off like The Curse of La Llorona rather than a Conjuring 1, 2, or 3 movie.
I can see that too, but I'm going to hit the nail on the head again for me. Much like The Omen, I feel this movie did a good job at riding the line between, is this an actual possession or is this just someone with a crazy mental illness? Even though ultimately, it's a Conjuring movie, there's going to be the supernatural elements. But Like I feel like it could have gone either way depending on how you're looking at
and
it.
that's true. And one of the things I truly did love about this movie was completely obvious to anyone who has seen it. It's Ed and Lorraine Warren, played by Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. They shine again. Their love and their hope is at the very center of this, and their determination to protect each other is really at the forefront of this movie, and it is phenomenal to see them play off of each other.
I want to say I agree, and this is one of the reasons why the Conjuring universe is as successful as it is, in my opinion. Their relationship on screen, you can tell there's like a chemistry there. Like they're not married, but if they were, you could see why.
Yeah.
Like, because they show the great chemistry on screen.
And they offer things a lot of times you don't see in horror movies. You know, they offer that kind of the center of the story is a love story.
The human element.
And that's not really, that doesn't play a big part. I said fart.
Yeah, it doesn't fart. They haven't been eating beans.
It's not spookies and the farting monsters.
Hey, commercial break, and we're gonna show you that thing.
No, but at the center of the story is their love. And that is really cool to be able to not only go into a horror movie and see a genre movie and be scared and get those thrills, but also feel that connection a little bit on a deeper level that they offer. So that's really cool. And that is there probably more so in this movie than in the other ones, I feel. So bravo to that. I do love that aspect of the movie.
Another really cool aspect is all the little horror movie references that are like sprinkled throughout, all the little Easter eggs. Should we go through those?
Yeah, let's go through them really fast.
Okay. So you might have noticed there's the opening scene, The Exorcist, that shot, that iconic shot.
I mean, that in that picture, that photograph, it's been all over like the internet. You've probably seen it. It's the comparison of the two. That's really cool.
The Father Merrin little boom.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, I like that.
And also like some of like the exorcisms, parts during the exorcism in the beginning kind of resemble the first Exorcist movie.
There's also, if you're talking classic horror, there's also kind of a reference to The Shining in there. When Ed gets kind of possessed a little bit and starts violently swinging the axe. A lot of people draw comparisons to Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Here's Patrick, or
here's Eddie.
Here's Wilson. No, it doesn't really.
Nah.
Here's Eddie is better.
Yeah, here's Eddie.
That's at the end of the movie. But going back to the beginning, there's also references to Psycho in the shower scene where David like puts his hand out. The character David is like, and is reminiscent of Janet Leigh in Psycho.
The great Janet Leigh.
The legendary, iconic.
Yeah.
There's also another Psycho reference where Arnie is cutting a tree and the ghost is in the mirror or window in the background, which is much like
good old Norman Bates looking out the window
and
of his mama's house.
And Psycho.
Yep. There's also the Nightmare on Elm Street 4 reference, which I knew you loved immediately. You saw the connection right away.
Yeah, that was my favorite of all of them.
When the waterbed, when the family is in the flashbacks and they're moving into the house for the first time, the little boy, what was his name? I forgot his name. David. He goes and picks out the waterbed, and then the hands reach up from the waterbed and the bodies float by, straight out of Nightmare 4.
Where the body pops up out of the waterbed?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Carrie with the blood raining down in the shower, and that during the scene we referenced in Psycho. That's another big one. Pet Cemetery. Pet Cemetery. The look John Noble's character has, Father Castor, is representative of Judd Crandall from Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. And there's
With
also
the little brown hat and the suspenders and the plaid.
sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes you need an exorcist.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there's also a cool little flashback to Halloween 2 in it. Right when they're pulling up to the hospital, it's very much reminiscent of the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital in Halloween 2. And this movie is supposed to take place in 1981. Halloween 2 came out in 1981. And I don't know. I might have to go back and see this movie again. But I could have sworn when they're in the hospital, I heard on the loudspeaker paging Dr. Loomis.
I think I heard something like that too. I didn't write it down at the time when we were watching it or separately, but yeah, I think I've heard something like that too in there.
I'm gonna have to go back and see that and see if my ears are not playing tricks on me.
I don't think they were because I heard it too and we watched it separately.
See, right? And then that would have been really cool. This is like to continue that little homage to Halloween 2 with the obvious entrance to the hospital and then doing the little paging Dr. Loomis thing. So I like that. I do really love all of these little references.
There were two others. One is another Hitchcock movie, Vertigo. They kind of do a similar shot with like the green curtains in the background and the lead female actress from both movies. In this movie, obviously it's Vera Farmiga, and the like shadowed out in the background, and then another figure like with his back to the camera, like talking with the green curtains. That was like the only other one I kind of noticed.
Yeah, I think that was about. That's all I noticed.
That and Valak. There's like a little Valak.
Oh yeah, the little Valak cameo, mini cameo. But if did you see any more references? Did we miss some? If you did, comment down below and let us know. Or if you saw these references, which ones were your favorite?
Obviously, my favorite, Nightmare 4, The Dream Master.
And obviously, my favorite was the Halloween 2 reference, and I'm really hoping the paging Dr. Loomis was a part of that.
I think it was.
So here's some things I didn't really enjoy about the movie. So I even said this to Nicole. We were watching it, and it was like 3/4 of the way through. And I'm like, this doesn't feel like a Conjuring movie to me. It feels more like an episode of Supernatural.
And Supernatural is awesome, so I don't know what the problem is.
Supernatural is an amazing show. It was an amazing show. One of my faves. But I don't know. It was just like Ed and Lorraine were running around from town to town, kind of trying to figure out what or how this demon or this devil, what this was that was possessing people. And then it turned out to be like a cult coven, and there's the head witch at the top of
which was the ram reference from Annabelle.
Yeah, the cult of the ram. But I don't know, there's like that entire aspect to me felt a little bit too much like Supernatural.
Well, how else are you going to make this movie? You can't have them going like just being like, oh, he's on trial now for the murder, and have everything be in the one area. They have
That's true.
It's a nationwide thing.
Yeah,
because the devil is very evil and has global reach.
He has his the hooves?
Hooves?
Claws? I don't know.
Hooves?
He has those all over.
If you want to think it's like Cthulhu.
Yeah, I get it, right? They did it like that, and it's fine.
It's good. It's
just
amazing.
It kind of bothered me.
No, it takes a lot to make a movie.
Look, this is what I was expecting going into the movie. I was expecting another Conjuring 1 or 2. And we were given the complete opposite, in my opinion, of a Conjuring 1 or 2.
And it moves the story forward.
It does. It does.
Great. It's got its creepy moments with Father Castor. He's like, hey, I am the priest, and you want to see my evil objects in the room? Like I can't do his voice. I can't impersonate him, but he's like, hello.
John Noble is an amazing actor.
And they go down to the basement. That whole scene is creepy. It's creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was the least scary, the least creepy out of the 3 Conjuring movies.
I mean, it's not really as scary as the others, but just because it's not scary doesn't mean it's not creepy.
That's true.
Like, I'm glad it didn't rely on all the jump scares that some of the previous movies did. I'm not saying there weren't.
Yeah, there were definitely... Because
there were some.
There were more in this one than I think in Conjuring 2.
Maybe.
Probably more than the first Conjuring.
Maybe.
That's like, to me, that atmosphere, like when they're playing hide and clap in the original, or when the crooked man is like, you start playing that song and stuff in the little tent, like in the second one, like those are just genuinely creepy atmospheric scenes. And I don't know if we got so much of the atmospheric creepy scenes in this one.
There were a bunch down in the little tomb cellars.
Yeah, but that was at the very end of the movie, so I wanted some sprinkled in throughout, I guess.
And like the little rodent that was like running around into the walls, and
yeah,
that was pretty creepy. And and when the dude Arnie Johnson, the character, is all like drugged out of his mind or possessed, and he murders the dude. That scene was.
Yeah, that was good.
That was boss.
It was a really good scene. And like you mentioned, after I saw the movie, when I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, it wasn't scary at all. You're like, no, a satanic cult with regular people is creepy as hell.
It's creepier than a.
Because I mean, that's real.
Fictitious demon monster.
That's real. Around. You know, there's people out there. Satanic cults exist. And they could just randomly pick somebody to kill them for no rhyme or reason. So yeah, that aspect is scary, and the more I think about it, it's creepier to me.
It's
like
creepy.
During the movie, I'm expecting it to be like The Conjuring 2, and I'm like, what is this? But in afterthought, like after I watched the movie and let it sink in, I'm enjoying it more and more.
It's because it's a great movie.
It was real. It was good. It was really good.
I also agree with Joe Bob. We can't be shitting on movies all the time.
That's true.
Because it's not our cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like, because it has, like, always look for the good. Like, find, like, every movie there's positives in, even if it's not your favorite.
And it takes the dedication and incredible hard work to make movies. Like Joe Bob said on VHS night.
I mean, everybody says that, but then what do? We go back and we shit on the movies.
That is true.
It's okay. If they're not your favorite, that's okay. Just move on.
You gave it 5 out of 5. I originally had it at a 3.5 out of 5. I have since changed my vote to a 4.5 out of 5.
That just proves I'm a good arguer.
So yeah, you definitely got your point across. You made some really valid points that I didn't really think about the first time.
And we hope we changed your mind on it. Or if you just want to talk about the movie, just comment below.
Drop a comment below. And
as always, like and subscribe.
Hit the comment button. Talk to us. We're always open for a good conversation about horror movies. Follow us on Instagram at Husker Sensei.
And Ibeck Joe.
Follow us on Letterboxd at the same handles. And on Twitter at Haddonfield Sons. And Ibeck Joe. Personal. So, thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. What are you hoping for in The Conjuring 4?
Or the next spin-off from the universe.
The next universe movie. What are you guys hoping for? Bye.